2NURFM News. For our sponsor, Tile Warehouse Warners Bay, the large floor tile specialists.
It's 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Iuliano with 2NURFM Hunter News. The owner of the Thornton News Agency says he's still feeling rattled after yesterday's attempted armed robbery on his business. A man entered the Railway Avenue shop at about 4 p.m. armed with a knife, but fled when the owner picked up a baseball bat. It's the third time the business has been targeted in the past 12 months, and owner Wayne Hackett says it's always an unnerving experience.
Oh, it shakes you up, definitely. You're sort of looking over your shoulder all the time. You never know when, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't expect someone to come in with a damn knife after you. But obviously, to me, I would say he's after drug money. Couldn't think he'd be after it to go and buy a new pair of shoes or anything, but, it does shake you up, I must admit. I'm sure it's shaking now talking about it.
Newcastle Council has voted against a merger with Lake Macquarie Council, stating they would rather merge with Port Stephens. Earlier this week, Lake Macquarie agreed to extend its boundaries to encompass part of Wyong. Both decisions go against the Fit for the Future suggestions by the state government. Councils who agreed to a merger before today will have access to infrastructure funding as well as funds to cover merger costs, around $20 million. New Bureau of Health Information data shows there's room for improvement in public hospital treatment for Hunter kids. Despite an overall positive review of care, the state's kids weren't happy with their rooms. 4 in 10 were bothered by noise and 1 in 7 felt the room wasn't age appropriate. BHI Chief Executive Jean-Frédéric Levesque says the Hunters' kids want more involvement in their treatment.
40% of older children between 8 and 17 years of age said that they were definitely involved as much as they wanted to be in decisions about their own care and treatment in the region, compared with a higher result of 49% in the state as a whole. So that's also an issue that could be looked into.
Enraged Upper Hunter residents have expressed their anger on social media after it was revealed dead dogs have been dumped in a local charity bin. The RSPCA is looking into how the dogs have come to be stuffed inside the Aberdeen St Vincent de Paul charity bin twice in 3 weeks, with claims the animals may have been taken for the purpose of dog fighting. The breeds of the dogs in question are still unknown, with calls for CCTV cameras to be set up in the area. 20 new jobs are set to be created in Newcastle as the state government establishes a project office to assist in its roads infrastructure program. The program will tender to 85 projects across the state, with a Newcastle office focusing on signature projects such as the Pacific Highway. Parliamentary Secretary for the Hunter, Scott McDonald, says the office will have a hand in a number of projects.
We've also got work across the state road network. We've got a lot of work going on the Central Coast. We're close to completing the $170 million there, but there's more work. It's 5 years of 85 projects, as they call them. It's an infrastructure wave.
And Tasmanian devils from a Barrington Tops breeding program have bid adieu to the hunter. 22 creatures from Devil Ark were selected on their genetic diversity and ability to adapt to a natural habitat as a means to up the endangered species population in Tasmania. Campaign manager Jennifer Crowe says medical checkups continued up until they boarded their plane south.
Even today, just before they were put in their special traps, we had to brush them to make sure there were no parasites left on their fur. We had to dip their feet in a special antibacterial cleanser so that there is absolutely zero chance of invasive species transmission onto Tasmania.
In finance, the All Ords is down 12 points at 51.62 and $1 Australian dollar is buying 71 US cents.
Sport. Thanks to our sponsor, Warners Bay Sports Club.
The Newcastle Knights will play their first pre-season trial match against Canberra in Orange on Saturday, February 20. They'll have a fresh, younger-looking side heading into the 2016 season. Young guns Luke Yates, James Taylor and Josh King are hoped to do better than 2015's Wooden Spoon campaign. At 35 years old, Jeremy Smith is now the Knights' senior-most player. The Newcastle Jets have a heavy focus on Adelaide this week, leaving behind their disappointing draw with the Central Coast. Coach Scott Miller was reportedly appalled by the 92nd minute equaliser, but skipper Nigel Bogard says they've learnt from their mistakes. He says they'll move on to the next challenge.
A bit of everything, to be honest with you, but I think also game management and being a bit street smart and knowing how to play a game out once you go ahead. That comes through experience. We've got enough experience on the field to control those situations and make sure that when we do take the lead with 10 to go, that's it.
And Newcastle and Hunter Rugby Union is getting ready for a hybrid game with Rugby League next year. The codes will combine in October with matches played in quarters and 13 players to a side. 2NURFM News Time is coming up to 1:05.